So this lesson on the sociology of education is about the Marxist view of the anti-school peer group. Yeah, very similar to the Paul Willis stuff, David Hargreaves stuff, but a different perspective on the same sort of research. So I can recall the work of Paul Willis, understand and assess this research. Participant observation is the method he used. Ethnographic is another term, means exactly the same as participant observation, ethnographic studies. Ear roll, laugh, slang. Invert, turn upside down. Compliance, do what you're meant to do. Consciousness and manual labour. So, here's the previous lesson on ethnicity. With the questions, if you do not know the answer, look in the previous video. So let's remind ourselves. David Hargreaves, Stephen Ball, the other interactionists, when they did work on the anti-school peer group, they said it was as a result of labelling. Yeah, the teachers label the kids in the bottom set as stupid and lazy. And this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where the kids in those sets form an anti-school subculture. They invert the norms and values of the school because they've been rejected, but they've been given low status by the school. We make some more notes in class, but that's basically what Hargreaves and all the interactionists think. Yeah, it's about labelling. Paul Willis is a sociologist who did very, very, very similar research. He worked in a school whilst he was studying a group of kids, a group of boys. At the end of it, he wrote this book, Learning to Labour, same book, two different covers. You can tell an important book in sociology, it gets printed more than once. So he spent time with these kids, he studied them, and he found exactly the same thing as Hargreaves, an anti-school peer group, where the boys in the bottom set are called the lads. The boys in the top set who do what they're meant to do are called the ear-holes. And for the lads, school's all about having a laugh, mucking about at school, not doing what they're told, smoking, that sort of thing. So that was his finding in a big study, a group of working class boys who'd formed an anti-school peer group. So far, it's been exactly the same as Hargreaves, exactly the same as the interactionists. But Paul Willis was a Marxist. So his analysis of why this was happening was completely different. He saw the boys acting like working class men. So the boys rejected the school's version of masculinity. They already had a version in the mind from their fathers of what being a man was. It didn't involve sitting in school writing things down. These lads expected, when they'd finished school, to get a job in a factory or a manual labour job like their fathers. And importantly, Willis said, they had seen through the lie of school. The lie being, if you are good and you work hard, you will get a well-paid middle-class job. They could see that was not true. It was a lie. Yeah, so they were not willing to comply with the school's rules. They were not willing to comply with the middle-class structure of the school. They kept their own working-class culture. And they would like their fathers. They were doing mundane work, and to make their work day more interesting, they mucked about, just like men on building sites and factories do today. So, why, if they observe the same behaviour, do Hargreaves and Willis not agree on the cause? It's to do with their theoretical underpinnings. Hargreaves is an interactionist, so he sees things in those terms, interaction between people, groups of people. Willis is a Marxist, so he sees everything through the lens of Marxism. Everything's about class conflict. Class conflict can explain everything, including kids mucking about at school. And then what we'll do is this 15-mark essay. Anti-school peer groups are the result of labelling. That's a statement. Is this statement accurate? In your answer, you are advised to refer to labelling and other relevant factors and theories to support your judgment. So you write about labelling and Hargreaves, you write about Willis and learn to labour, and that could be the bulk of your essay.